was supposed to be stormy today, but fantastic afternoon. So, things to do. Thought I'd show you those pumpkins first. We looked at them about a week ago and they were getting larger. Let's go and have a look. It's hard to get in here without stepping on tendrils. Ooh, look at that fella. They're just everywhere. Pumpkins galore. And we've got some over here that are really developing. Ah, yes, look at that chap. In here, not so many, lots and lots of flowers. I think what I'm going to have to do is limit some of these tendrils so that we get the growth focused into the fruit that I've already set. So we'll look in here. Oh, well, there's certainly some growing everywhere. You can see smaller ones. And there's a beauty there. Just need to get him out of the soil, I think. There we go. Another one there. That's that banana squash, pink banana squash. It's doing really well. And this is the small sugar, which really looked like it was struggling, but not anymore. Yeah, there's the other side of those. Looking good. And on and down in here. So we've got lots of flowers, not so many squash in there. I'm sure there's probably quite a few buried under those leaves. We'll have to wait and see. But I think we're going to have a relatively successful squash and pumpkin season. Looking at those that are setting and growing on. Just want to have a quick peek into this. See what we can see. Oh yes, when you get down, there they are. And there's some more over there. So, doing well. And the growth on these is amazing. I'm sure it's gonna be a good season. The thing that struck me the other day when I was working in this area is how the apple trees seem to have improved. They've got a reasonable shape on them. They've leafed up well, and whereas previously they looked a bit sickly and the leaves weren't growing, we now seem to have got good leaf growth. So whether the weather has favoured that, I don't know. But I'm beginning to think now that if I shape those trees, just take off these branches that are looking unshapely, then we could be progressing quite well. And we've even got a couple of Brownlee apples up there. So, fingers crossed, with a bit of careful pruning, we might get ourselves back under control with the apples. At least these Brownleys. Now, looking at the beans this morning, they're doing very well indeed. Lots of pods on the Belotti dwarfs, on the cannellinis, a few pods on these climbing Bortolinis, and lots of growth on these gigantes, and not quite so many pods. But I think it's probably early days in this little area because it's that much more shaded. But what I have done is a taste test on all four varieties, and I treated them very much like a runner bean and got them young, peeled the stringy bit off the edge and boiled them in some slightly salted water. And I've got to say, the difference in flavour to normal runner beans was negligible, if anything at all. And so I satisfied myself with stick with the runner beans for that type of eating, and we'll grow these on to the stage where we get the pulses, and that's what they're really about. And I think that'll be an interesting food to grow and keep during the winter months. And the apples which I reduced the quantity of in favour of getting larger apples, that really seems to be successful. They're already bigger than they were last year, and if we keep going with this moist, warm weather, I can see we're going to have a good crop of eating apples, and I'm really pleased with that. Hopefully that's the way forward, thinning out apples to get more. And looking at it, there's probably a few here that I need to do that I didn't reach. Spurred on by the success of my paths, which are now back under control, I'm gonna just clean up these, which aren't anything like the job that the others were, but we've got quite a bit of the old mare's tail growing through, so I'm just gonna work my way around, pull that out, and perhaps just give this a little rake over, and then all the beds will be in a good place. I think I can get on with some of the more mundane jobs. Well, that half filled a bucket anyway, but it was so much easier than the soil behind me. And those paths are pretty much cleared of the mare's tail, which is predominantly the weed that was in these paths. And I think what I'm going to do now is just rake them, and that will no doubt bring up a few more, and then this path will be in good condition for a while longer yet. So the weed barrier underneath the wood chip is definitely the best combination. So time to get the rake. Well, pretty much a 15-20 minute job, and the paths are back in good order, and that really was worthwhile doing. Keep those weeds at bay and gives me a chance to focus on other things instead of weeds, which would be nice. Well, I'm going to get that broccoli out of the polytunnel now and get it into its final position. But I just moved the seedlings, or the plants, and this what was underneath, which is a rather wonderful newt, and that's the second one I've had in here, and I think it's becoming a favourite haunt of theirs, which is great news. Well, there's plenty of space here. I don't think I'm going to need quite that many plants, but what I am going to need is some lime. So I'm off to get that from the shed. So I've not managed yet to get any builder's lime, but I've got some garden lime that I've had a while. It's no problem, it keeps pretty much forever. And I'm going to use this for planting up these purple sprouting broccoli and try and prevent the clubroot from damaging them. It's just a few weeds I need to pull, not very much, and then I'm going to dig some holes and then mix this lime in to those holes and the compost that surrounds, and then get the purple sprouting broccoli into the ground. Now these plants will grow into a pretty substantial size, and therefore I've got to be careful I don't overcrowd this. On the other hand, if I've got club root and any of them do start to wilt, it may be better to have a few extra in the ground and then pull the ones that are not working out. So let's space them out and see how we go. Well, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's probably more than enough. And we'll get those in. We'll keep those as spares just in case we have too many that get damaged. So 10 holes, fill them with lime and add some lime to the surrounding soil. So we'll do one and I'll show you how it goes. So I've prepared a hole quite deep. Brassicas don't mind being buried up their stems. So I'm going to just make sure that the base of the hole is nicely broken down. I'm going to get a good handful of the lime and also put it in the surrounding compost, which I'm going to use to backfill. Just mix it up a bit and also put some around the side. And then we'll take the plant, get down in there and bury him nice and deep. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on top and then get this soil round it. And as with all brassicas, a really good firming in helps. And then surround it. And then I'm going to just sprinkle some lime in and around the surface. So that's the strategy. I'm going to do that down this row with all the plants. There we are, 10 plants well lined in, and we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that the club root doesn't have an impact now that we've given that treatment to the soil. Well, one of my pastimes is carving, and it occurred to me today that those chippings that come off my carving could go on my paths. So, brought a bag over and I'm going to spread them out. Well, that should help. A bit more carving, I might have my path solved. Well, they've forecasted some heavy winds, and it looks like we've got a bit of a problem with wind already. This sunflower has gone right over. So let's see if we can straighten him up. Well, these sunflowers are well and truly over, but it would seem a shame to see them break before the seed heads develop. And hopefully the birds will take good use of all those sunflower seeds. So I'm going to just make them stable because we're expecting some windy weather. Hopefully that'll give it a few more weeks of life. Get those birds under on those seed heads. Be nice to see. Well, the high winds that are forecast are 40 to 50 miles an hour, so not horrendous, but this whole bean cane arrangement just acts like a sail, and I'm going to do everything I can to secure it with some stakes and some twine. So this is old strimmer lock twine, which I've no longer got the strimmer that uses this gauge, so it makes good use of it, and hopefully that will give it some additional support. So I've got a pair of these used to be bike hangers for going in the rafters in a garage. They're going to do just the job in these wooden surrounds for this bed. I'm scraping the barrel now, rusty old iron stake, but it all counts. One of the benefits of using this strimmer cable is that I won't trip over it. It's plenty bright enough. I do hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and if you want updates from me each time I upload a video, click the bell and select all. I do hope you have a great day. Diolch yn fawr.